Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Tonight we're going to talk about late break, how to develop sharp breaking pitches to get more batters out. So the first thing we want to know is, what is late break on a pitch? What does that look like? Late break has to do with the action of the ball in terms of lateness action to it, not early action to it. It's the hallmark, or it's the makeup of a really good sharp breaking pitch that you might see as you watch MLB films or top college players. You'll see late action pitches. Late break has to do or refer to the late breaking action on any given pitch. The purpose is to disrupt the hitter's timing at a greater degree. So the later the pitch moves, the less time the hitter has to react based on the premise of your fastball. So basically adding late break or learning how to get your pitches to break late is going to make you a more effective pitcher in the long run. The foundation of any late breaking pitch really has to do or starts with the grip. How you're gripping your pitch, how your thumb is positioned, where your fingers are on the baseball, and then your approach with it is what's going to give it its late action in terms of crossing the plate or being a sharper pitch to hit. So let's look at a couple of grips, right? So if we wanted to throw a slider, for instance, I would start with a slider off of the horseshoe here and then run your fingers up off of it here to this point. And then I would take your thumb and then start with the finger underneath, the thumb underneath, and then work on it coming up to the side a little bit more, right? So that would be a sharper breaking pitch here versus maybe one that wobbles a little bit more, is a little less efficient, which we'll get into later into the video. For breaking pitches, I would start with a two seam in mind and then work your fingers up the horseshoe and then having a good, strong, solid grip, and then working to be a little more efficient coming off of your arm slot, right? So if we think about release height, where do we release our fastball, and how efficient we are with our grip on the pitch and extension is going to give that late action life on the ball as we go into throwing the pitch. One other pitch I'd like to describe in terms, or I've already covered, is the cutter. So we're slider, cutter, sharper breaking pitches that dive down. These things that move a little bit more horizontal sometimes are late action pitches. On the cutter, what you might do again is start with the two seam in mind and then try to work around to find where you can get a nice sharp cut through the baseball to get a nice little dot to it and slide away from the batter, essentially. One thing to think about in developing late breaking pitches is deception is key. So keeping your arm path and your arm speed based on the premise of your fastball. So if I'm pitching and I'm here at this time and into flexion, getting into extension of release, you want your slider to match that, right? So we have your slider grip, and then you're going to pitch that slider with the fastball on your mind, and then just work on the release once you get through extension of it, and not changing once you get out of your path of pitching in terms of your mechanics. That's when hitters start to tell, or you're tipping your pitch to, if you come up and you're here on your fastball, but then on your breaking pitch, you start to buckle off like this to get on top more. The higher level you get, the more that the hitter's going to realize that or see that, hey, you're tipping your pitch. Once he buckles off his left shoulder here, you know it's going to be a breaking pitch. So what we want to do is disrupt the timing of the hitter as much as possible with keeping everything into the appearance of our fastball. Also, we want to think about spin efficiency with late action breaking pitches. Spin efficiency has to do with how efficient is the spin of the pitch, or how efficient is the rotation of the pitch after we release. An inefficient pitch would look like a wobble to it, right? So it would be a little more wobbly. A tight spin efficient would be like, for instance, a slider would have the more appearance of a bullet approach coming to you, and it'd be nice tight spin, which would give it late life. Your curveballs are going to have more top spin to them, so you want a tighter top spin running this way to down, so it'll be late action coming at you. So if you're the catcher, it comes and then it has a late drop to it. Would be a nice tight curveball, and your slider would be a bullet, and then it would sweep away from the hitter essentially. One thing we do here at ARM on spin efficiency is we'll look at the Rapsodo machine, and what that does is gives us a ton of feedback in terms of how our release axis is on the pitch, and then what type of spin we're getting in conjunction with our arm slot, and how that pitch is coming off our fingers is really helpful when we're training or teaching a pitch. Because when you deal with pitch efficiency, my arm slot might be here, but your arm slot might be a little more higher 3/4. So the pitches that I would use to be efficient with to get late break on might or will not be the same pitches that you're going to use, or the same pitch grips that you're going to use in your repertoire than I would, because they're going to be a less efficient spin, so to speak. So my advice would be to get into a facility that will give you that feedback, a TrackMan or a Rapsodo or something to that effect, where you can get some data analytics behind the spin efficiency of your pitch. Another component to developing late breaking pitches would be the release height or release efficiency of where is the ball at the point of release when we go to throw the pitch. If you're a guy that has early or high release height, what we're doing essentially is giving the hitter more time to see the pitch develop. What we want to do is shrink that gap down and basically look at it in terms of release point velocity, right? So it looks a lot faster if you release the ball out front of you at maybe forehead height or eye height here, than if you release the ball back here at above your head. The hitter's going to have so much more time to react and hit that pitch. So what we want to do is develop our breaking pitches with our new grips or working on grips. And the thing I would advise you to do is do a build up with it, right? So get familiar with your grip, first of all, that you want to try to use. And then what I would do is start on a knee. So once we get down to a knee, I'm simply getting my pitch grip here. And then all I'm doing is trying to get into my arm action, bring it back, and then throw it over my front side to see what the action looks like or how it's developing. You can do it with a partner, or you can throw into a mat, right? And then get some feedback from it. Do you like the shape? Is it late enough? Are you still releasing too high? Get some video of yourself throwing the ball or throwing the pitch out front of you and see what that looks like. Where are you releasing? Slow motion cameras will help capture everything in real time for you and give you a better sense of feedback rather than just going into it blindly. So once you get off the knee part and you want to develop a little bit taller stature, a little bit wider base, go to your split stance here, right? And then work the same presentation off of it, where you're rocking back into your split hip and then get extended out over your front side, developing the pitch, developing the spin on your pitch a little bit better. One thing, I just threw that ball, I had a tendency to yank. It was giving me a good feedback where I was trying to like pull across it too much. So you're going to see that feedback as you go develop your late breaking pitches. Okay, another drill you guys can do is work on the ground or work flat ground through your pitch. So instead of trying to jump on a mound and develop a pitch, develop late break to a pitch, do it from the ground first. So go through your mechanics, get through, and then try to work through the release points. Again, using slow motion, using video feedback is going to be very helpful on this. So one other thing you can do to get some feedback and helping develop late action, late breaking pitches to your repertoire this year, however you're looking at this video and timeline. But one thing we could do is I've got some tape here, and we're going to take the tape and then just make a straight line with the tape, right? So we're just going to put it around the ball And you could use whatever tape. I'm using some medical tape here, but I think duct tape works well and probably a little bit better than the tape I'm using. But so this way we've got some feedback or discoloration to the ball. So when we throw it, if we throw in a breaking pitch and we're trying to work a better top spin to our curveball, but we're getting a wobble look to it, then you'll know that you're inefficiently spinning that pitch. This is something, or one way that you can work on spin efficiency without having expensive equipment, or a place to do this at is getting feedback from the tape position, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so I'm gonna throw a breaking pitch, and what I wanna see is like black dropping this way, but it's really gonna give us feedback because it won't come out that way. So when I go to throw it, you can see the inefficient wobble to that, where it's more of a slurve approach to it, which is giving me feedback to the efficiency of that pitch and the break life of it ultimately. So ultimately, it's about you becoming a better pitcher this year, working on getting late breaking pitches, late action breaking pitches, like your sliders, like your cutters, like your curveballs, working on developing a little bit later life to those. Hey, listen, I appreciate all the support over the years and watching these videos. If you wouldn't mind hitting the thumbs up button for me, I really appreciate that. And then if you're new here and you enjoyed the content that I shoot, please hit the subscribe button for more pitching tips, drills, exercises, and workouts. And until I shoot the next video, keep working hard, and I'll see you guys next time. And thank you guys so much for checking out the video today. I really appreciate that. Hey, for more pitching tips, drills, exercises, and workouts, don't forget to hit the subscribe button for me. And also, if you like the content we shoot here, go ahead and give this a thumbs up. And until I shoot the next video, I look forward to seeing you next time.